What's up, good people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Be careful down in the comment section of the videos. A lot of spam, a lot of scammers. I will never ask you to contact me by WhatsApp or Telegram. I also do not invest money for my subscribers, so please be careful. Don't get yourself scammed. If you want up to 12 free stocks, Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks when you open a new Webull brokerage account. Put any amount of money in that brokerage account. They're going to give you up to 12 free stocks. There's a link down in the description box of this video. Click on that Webull link, open up your new Webull account today, go get that free stock, go get that free money. I'm going to also send you a Webull tutorial video to walk you through how to use the Webull app to make your first trade. All you got to do is send me an email, let me know you've opened your Webull account, let me know you funded your Webull account, and I'll send you that Webull tutorial video. There's an email address down in the description box of this video. Go ahead and get my email address, send me an email, and I'll send you out that Webull tutorial video. Well, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody that celebrates Thanksgiving and that inspired this video today. Because I want all of us to be aware of what's going on in America as it relates to the American people and their ability to pay their rent and provide the basic food that they need for them and their family. And the struggle people are having between the two. You know, do I pay my rent or do I feed my family? And I want to just start off the conversation with some statistics. And let's start with Americans' struggle with paying rent. Harvard did a study and concluded that a record number of Americans are spending at least 1/3 of their income on rent. So 30% of their income is going just to pay rent, right? A total of 21.6 million households now spend more than 30% of their pre-tax income on rent. Some households are even paying up to 50% of earnings on apartments per this Harvard research study. That's a big number, guys. That is a big number. Up to 50% of what you're making is being spent on shelter, rent. Huge, huge number. Now let's take a look at some statistics real quick when it comes to being able to feed your family. And this comes from Feeding America. This is what they're saying. More than 44 million people in the U.S. face hunger, including 1 in 5 children. Staggering. 49 million people in 2022 turned to food assistance for extra help. People experience food insecurity in every community. However, people in rural communities and the South are often more likely to lack access to food because of the many factors like poverty, unemployment, and the cost of living. Those are some staggering statistics, guys. I just wanted to paint the picture before I dive into giving you guys my opinion on that. Here's the way I look at it. And again, it's just my opinion, guys. If you disagree, I'm okay with that. I'm going to give you my opinion though on this channel, right? And my opinion is this. The haves are continuing to get more and more wealthy. The have-nots are getting more and more poor. These statistics right here back that statement up. When you have up to 50% of your income going to pay rent, that's a problem. Why is that happening? Because what we see, or what I see, is when development starts, nobody wants to do affordable housing. Because most developers, right, are what? 1%ers. These are people who are rich, they're wealthy, and they want to cater to rich and wealthy. No one that's a 1%er wants to build affordable housing. They don't make any money in affordable housing, right? There is no opportunity for that property in a lot of instances to appreciate in value. So why would I put my money into a project that long term is not going to be more valuable tomorrow than it is today? That's the way the 1% make their money. They buy assets, right? They buy them today and they hold those assets to the increase in value tomorrow. So that's why, in my opinion, you're having this crisis with people being able to pay their rent, because everything that's being developed is developed for market rent or higher. It's not being developed for affordable rent, right? The haves are getting richer and wealthier. The have-nots continue to get poorer. And that's affecting a lot of Americans. Housing is going to continue to be a problem until we, as the 99%, come together and stop it. The 1% is not going to save us when it comes to housing. Housing for the 1% will continue to escalate. And the 1% who are developing this housing, especially these apartments, they're luxury apartments, guys. Think about in your community. I know here in my community, every apartment I go by, brand new construction, on the front of it, it says luxury apartments. That just tells me it's not affordable for the average person. 50% of your income going towards rent. That's too high, man. You can't afford anything else. And now let's talk a little bit more about food. You know, you're asking, I'm asking myself, we're the greatest country in the world, but yet and still, we have 44 million people who are struggling to put food on the table. 1 in 5 kids struggling to get 3 meals a day. Why is that? Haves are getting richer, have-nots are getting poorer. From July 2022 to July 2023, food costs went up by 5%. 5%, guys. That's too high. But we could change that. But in a capitalistic society, it's always about the 1%. It's always about doing everything the 1% can do to squeeze every dime out of the 99%. That's how it is in a capitalistic society. And let's face it, we live in a capitalistic society. It's all about the mighty dollar. It's all about making as much money as you can make and step on whoever you got to step on in order to make it. I always go back to the 99% though. I always come back to us. Because see, we can change that. We can change that. But until we change the way we think, band together, it's not going to change. See, the 1% control everything in this country. Educational system, the government, big corporations, they control it all. They control all the money. But yet and still, the 99% produce all the money. See, we produce all the money, but they control it all. But yet and still, 50% of our money is going to just pay rent. Now, I know some of y'all are saying, no, that ain't me. That's not me. I'm not in that situation. 50% of my money is not going to pay rent or my mortgage. But yet and still, 100 million Americans don't have any retirement savings. $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. 1.6 trillion dollars in student loan debt. $1.5 trillion in auto loan debt. So maybe you don't have a problem with paying your rent or your mortgage, but I guarantee you got a problem with something else. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. And normally the people who are having a hard time putting food on the table and having a hard time to pay their rent is folks that are working hourly jobs, right? They're working hourly jobs. It's not your quote unquote professionals who make a salary. See, you got hourly wages and then you got salary, right? Salary is, I don't work by the hour. I'm gonna pay you 50, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 a year and you just do your job. That's your salary. Whereas other people out there, most Americans, a majority of them, work hourly. Okay, we're gonna pay you $15 an hour. So if you work 4 hours, you get $15 an hour times 4. If you work 12 hours, you get $15 an hour times 12. That's how a lot of folks work. But what happens is when the 1% decide they want to start cutting back so that their profits don't get impacted, where do they start? They start with those hourly employees. They start cutting back their hours. How does that affect salaried folks? Well, they just lay them off because you can't really cut back their hours. They're salaried. So whether they work 8 hours or 4 hours, they still get the same salary. So what they do, they just fire them. But the hourly folks, they just cut their hours back. Before you know it, you go from working 10 hours a day, you're working 4 hours a day. And guess what? It impacts your ability to buy food. It impacts your ability to pay your rent. Those are the two big ones, right? When we look at inflation, the two biggest drivers are what? Food and shelter, especially shelter. It makes up 1/3 of any inflation number. 1/3, guys, shelter. Shelter is getting super expensive. I did a video a few days ago where I talked about these developers, right? These residential and multifamily developers. They're not developing properties that are affordable for most Americans. They're developing properties that are luxury for the 1%, for professionals. And if you are in a position where you say, well, you know something, it's not affordable, but I got to do it anyways because I got nowhere else to go, that's where 50% of your income is going to support this luxury apartment complex or this luxury home that you've bought. You've bought too much home that you can't afford, but you got no choice because there is no affordable housing. That's the problem in our country. There is no affordable housing. And the reason there's really not a lot of affordable housing is because there's no money in it. You got to understand, guys, we live in a country that's about money. It's not about what's doing right. It's about money. There's no money in affordable housing. So people don't do it. Now, there are groups that specialize in affordable housing. Of course, you got the government who tries to do what they can. They don't do enough, but they do a little bit, right? So you got some affordable housing. The problem is land is so expensive, right, that it's cost prohibitive to be able to build a lot of affordable housing. Plus, anybody that owns land or has a quote unquote nice neighborhood that they don't want affordable housing coming in. Why? Because they're scared of the property values going down. So you block that every road you try to go down. You try to go down this road to build affordable housing, people stop you. Trust me, I'm telling you, they're going to stop you. They're going to stop you. They're going to go to whatever local government agency. They're going to go to council meetings, city council meetings. They're going to go to county meetings, and they're going to protest to stop any affordable housing. Why? Because the 1% don't want their property values going down. That's what they believe. See, they associate affordable housing with crime, bad people. They do. I'm just telling you the truth, guys. The neighborhood that I live in, I guarantee you they won't allow any affordable housing anywhere around here. They just won't do it. Because they're afraid that their property values are going to go down. They're afraid crime is going to come into the neighborhood. So yet and still, most Americans they have no other choice but to go and pay market for rent, even though they may be working hourly jobs with hourly wages. And then all of a sudden, 50% of your money goes to do what? Pay your rent. And now all of a sudden you're struggling. You're saying, well, golly, I got transportation, right? Golly, I got insurance. Most importantly, I got food. How do I buy food? Have you been to the grocery store lately? I just told you the statistics. 5% increase in food costs in 1 year. I go to the grocery store myself and I see what's happening. Now, I can afford the increase, but I see what's happening. I know what it cost me last year because I go to the grocery store on my own. Nobody doesn't buy my grocery for me. I go buy it. And I know last year what the cost of milk was. I know what the cost of eggs. All of that stuff has went up, guys. Here's the problem, though. For most Americans, on your hourly wage, it didn't go up at the same rate food costs went up. How many of you out there got a 5% raise last year, but your food costs went up 5%? You see where I'm going with this? How many of you guys out there got a 5% raise last year? Not many of you. Not many of you got a 5% raise. So the situation is this. If we're going to sit around and wait for the 1% to fix something, it ain't going to never get fixed. That's the whole point here. We got Americans out here who have to decide, am I going to feed my family or am I going to pay rent? That's it. That's the decision. You should be able to do both and do it comfortably. But see, the problem is, I think, it keeps going up because lumber is more, concrete is more. Here's the deal. Let me ask you this question. Who do you think own the concrete companies? Who do you think own the large lumber companies? Who do you think control all of the supply chain? It's not you and me. No, it's not those hourly wage people. It's not the middle class. We don't control any of the supply chain. Who do you think controls the supply chain in this country? The 1% control the supply chain. They try to make it seem like they have no other choice. Just like I mentioned yesterday in my live stream about insurance. Who do you think control the insurance companies? It's not the lower income or the middle class. Most Americans don't control insurance companies. The 1% control insurance companies. They control the supply chain. So why in the world are costs continuing to escalate? Unless they allow them to escalate. How in the world does GDP in the third quarter of 2023 grow by 5% in this country, but yet and still, we have 44 million Americans who cannot afford 3 meals a day. But how does GDP grow that fast? If we can't control anything. I'll tell you why it grows that fast. Because the 1% are still spending like crazy, and they have it to spend. And guess what? The rest of us, the 99%, we got no choice but to spend. Or we won't eat. Or we won't have any shelter. We got no other choice. Even though we don't have it, and the statistics point to we don't have it, we go find it somewhere. We find it with our credit cards. We find it with payday loans, title loans, all these predatory lending type of practices. That's rampant in lower income, middle income American households. Why? Because a lot of us have ruined our credit. We can't go borrow any money, plus it's too expensive anyways. So what do? We have to go the alternative route, and we have to go predatory lenders who are really abusing us again. Because if you look at the predatory lenders out there, if you look at their network, who are they controlled by? The 1%. Don't none of us control any of that, guys. I keep telling you, see, in this country, money gets you power. Money gets you power. The group of people who control the money control the power. Right? And that's what's happening here. A lot of people say, well, how do you fix that? Well, you fix it by the 99% banding together and changing it. Because I'm telling you right here, the 1%, we gotta make sure we elect more. No, them people y'all elect and don't care anything about y'all guys. I keep telling y'all that. These people who you elect into this, to Congress, these people who y'all put in the White House, these people don't care anything about y'all. They are 1%. Most of these people are 1%ers. Or if you do get a 99%er in there, in a lot of cases, they want to be 1% though. They have an aspiration to be 1%. You got to understand the way our government works, the way our legal system works, the way our educational system works. It's all controlled by the 1%. All of it. But see, here's the deal. The 99%, which represents you and I, we can change it. I keep telling y'all, we are the ones that make this country go. If we make up in our mind that we're not going to pay, 50% of our salary or our wages for shelter, we can make that change. Because we're going to have to. Because the 1% is not going to do it. There is a wealth gap in this country, and it's getting wider every single year. Go 10 years back and look at the wealth gap. Fast forward now and look at the wealth gap. It's wider. It's wider. And right under our noses, we allow these people to do this. We allow these people to continue to. I go to my local grocery store chain, and I'm not going to mention the name, but I guarantee you, man, these people are continuing to, and these people are billionaires, guys. The people who own the chain of grocery stores here in Southwest Florida and Georgia, and y'all know, if you live in this area, you know who I'm talking about. These people are billionaires. It's a privately held company. They're billionaires. Billionaires. Why wouldn't they just say, you know something? We're not going to pass on this cost. We're gonna keep prices level. Matter of fact, we're going to decrease prices and we'll be okay because we're billionaires. How about your national builders? Right? I call them oligarchs. And I know exactly what the definition of an oligarch is, but I still call them oligarchs. I'm talking about your national builders, your national developers. They're billionaires. They're billionaires, guys. How about they say, you know something? We control the supply chain. We're not gonna stiff and stuff the American people with, oh, we got an increase in lumber. Oh, we got an increase in nails. Oh, we got an increase in concrete. No, 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 no. How about we not do that and just say, you know something, for humanity to do something right, how about we not pass on these costs? How about we not charge someone $2,000 for a two-bedroom apartment? How about we not charge them $2,000 a month? But see, nobody in the 1% realm want to give up anything though. See, in order to do affordable housing, the people who are actually have the ability to do the affordable housing, they got to give up something financially. But none of them want to. That's the problem. None of them want to give up their money. They are not satisfied with being billionaires and multi-millionaires. They're not satisfied with that. They want more. And you pay the price for their greed. You and I. Now, a lot of y'all might say, well, what are you talking about? You do real well. Yeah, I do well because I made a decision to do well. I changed the way I thought. See, I didn't come up, guys, with any wealth. I was raised by a single mother, 3 kids, by herself and her family. We didn't have no luxuries, right? None. I don't tell you that for you to feel sorry for me. I tell you that because I come from the dirt. I come from the mud. So anything you see me with, I earned it. The 1% didn't give me anything. I took what I needed. Not in a negative way, but by changing my mindset, understanding how they make money, and I took those financial tactics and I made my own money. But I'm still at heart a 99%er because that's the way I came up. It was rough. We had a lot of love in our household, but we didn't have much money. So I understand where these people who are just like me are coming from. But I'm telling you guys, you're gonna have to change your situation. The 1% is not gonna do it. We gotta stop thinking they will. You gotta understand, 44 million people is a lot of people, guys. 44 million people don't know where to get the next meal. That's more than 10% of our population. And you okay with that? Are you okay with more than 10% of our population not being able to know where the next meal is coming from? Because some 1%er decides, you know something, I need to get even more wealthier. So yeah, I'm gonna charge you an extra 25 cents for a gallon of milk. They don't have to. They're billionaires. They don't have to. But they do. And they got you thinking it's your fault. See, that's the propaganda. That's the propaganda machine at work. See, they got you thinking that this is your fault. Oh, it's y'all fault. Y'all spending too much. It's y'all's fault. Don't get me wrong. We've contributed to it because we do spend. But they also cannot raise prices if they wanted to. They're billionaires. Come on. Why would they have to raise prices? They don't have to. They choose to. And then they blame you and tell you it's your fault that they got to raise prices when they're billionaires. I don't know. Why do you gotta charge people so much for rent? They choose to. They don't have to. They could make affordable housing. The problem, like I told you earlier, the reason they don't do affordable housing because they won't make any money. They're not in the business of not making money. They're in the business of making as much money as they can, and they don't care who they step on to make it. But we got to stop giving them the fuel to do that. As the 99%, we got to stop. We got to say, well, listen, it's not acceptable in our country to have 44 million people who don't know where the next meal coming from. Now, for all of us who are fortunate to have family and sit down today and have a nice meal for this Thanksgiving holiday, Think about the many people out there who are not going to be sitting down having a nice meal. Think about the millions and millions and millions of people out there who are not going to have turkey, who are not going to have ham, who are not going to have stuffing, who are not going to have whatever people eat on Thanksgiving. They're not going to have no Thanksgiving. Millions and millions and millions of people. And I'm not trying to, put a little poo-poo on your Thanksgiving, but I want you to understand Thanksgiving is great and it's nice to spend time with family, but everybody ain't in your situation. There are people out there who ain't gonna have no Thanksgiving. Those are the people we need to be caring about, because the 1% don't care about them. They don't. They don't care about them. We got to think about the people out here who can't afford housing. They got nowhere to live. And if they do, it's sucking up every dollar they have just to live there. So they can't even afford the rest of the basics. I was saying in a couple videos ago, a couple days ago, I said about here in the state of Florida, we've had these hurricanes over the last couple of years, and you got people here can't even afford to insure their home anymore. Or they are still 2 years later, 2022, a year and some months later, they're still fighting with big, gigantic oligarch insurance companies just to get what's rightfully theirs to repair their homes. They done paid their premiums for years, guys. Years and years and years, these people paid premiums. They had a natural disaster, was not their fault. Their insurance company won't pay them. And guess what? Our government allows it. That's the thing that really ticks me off. Our government allows these big insurance company oligarchs to suck premiums out of people for years. And then all of a sudden, when a natural disaster happens, they go to backpedal and saying, we ain't got enough, we can't pay this, we ain't gonna pay that. Depreciation. Your roof is 15 years old. Even though you've been paying insurance, full premiums for 15 years on a roof, on a new roof, thinking you're gonna get a new roof, you've been paying your premium for 15 years, and then all of a sudden a natural disaster happens. Then they try to depreciate the cost of your roof down. It's like, guys, I paid you for 15 years for a new roof. Now that I need the new roof, you're trying to tell me my roof is 15 years old, so I won't give you today's money to replace it. We're gonna give you a fraction of that because we're gonna depreciate it down. That's what our government allows these insurance oligarchs to do. That's what our government allows these large oligarch food producers. Now, I'm not talking about farmers. I'm not talking about farmers. You guys got to understand. You got farmers over here who are growing this food. But then you got people over here who actually buy it from the farmers and distribute it to us. See, we don't go buy right from the farmer. Most of us don't. 99% of us don't go to the farm and pick our food and pay the farmer. No, the farmers, who are just like us, 99%ers, they grow the food. But then you got the 1% come and buy the food, and then the 1% put it in their grocery stores or wherever they sell it, and then they sell it to us. So you got the farmers, and then you got the 1% who own the distribution channel. The farmers are not the distribution channel. They produce it, but they're not the distribution channel. They're just like you and I. The distribution channel is owned by 1%ers. I'm just telling you guys. You look at these large automobile manufacturers. These are oligarchs, man. They control the political scene. They control who gets put into the... All of these are oligarchs. Long line of wealth. And they will do whatever they have to do to protect that wealth, including trample over you. So when I'm thinking about food, I'm not thinking about the farmers, because they're just like us. They're just trying to stay in business. It's the oligarchs, the food distribution oligarchs are the ones who are at fault here. They are. I don't care what industry you look at. Again, you got multifamily oligarchs. You got residential national builder oligarchs. You got these people who are billionaires. Their companies are worth billions. But yet and still, they can't say, well, you know something, just so that people can live comfortably in an affordable house or be able to buy food, let's back down on these prices, man. Let's back off. I'm not going to increase milk. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, here's the deal. Help me out here. Help me out with this. Let's just take a gallon of milk. Help me out with this. So you got cows. Who owns the cows? Right? Who owns the cows? You got grass out there. Who owns the grass? What do cows eat? The grass, right? I mean, who owns the grass? I mean, how expensive can it be for grass to grow on its own? I don't know. How expensive can it be for a cow to have a baby cow, a calf? And then what do? You got to get the milk from them. Okay, you need some machinery to do that. If you're on a large scale, you need machinery. I get it. Where's that machinery coming from? I don't know. Is it coming from the United States? Is it coming from China? I don't know where the machinery is coming from. That's a cost. I get it. But come on, guys. You can get milk from a cow. But I mean, tell you what happens, though. When it leaves wherever it's coming from, it goes to an oligarch. It goes to a distribution oligarch. And that's where you get your price increase, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Again, you guys may have your own opinion, but I'm telling you, I don't care what you buy. There is a distribution oligarch who is marking up everything because that's how they make their money. Even retail. Go to retail. A lot of this stuff, guys, is made for pennies on the dollar in different countries. Look on the back of your tag of whatever shirt you're wearing, pair of pants you're wearing, your shoes you're wearing. I guarantee you a lot of it ain't even made in the United States. Why? Why isn't more stuff made in the United States? Because they can manufacture it cheaper somewhere else. See, these oligarchs, they don't care about the American people, because if they cared, they would manufacture their stuff here and just pay people a fair wage. But they don't want to do that. They'd rather take it to a different country where they don't have to, they're not scrutinized. They can pay them people over there in whatever country pennies. They manufacture the stuff, they ship it here, they mark it up to the sky, and then they sell it to you and I. And then they get on TV about, oh, we're doing so bad. Profits are down. Listen, man, I ain't feeling bad for none of those retail oligarchs. I don't feel sorry for any of them. I don't feel sorry for none of these oligarchs. None of these 1%ers I don't feel sorry for. And you shouldn't either. But you need to understand who controls the power, who controls the money. Follow the money and it'll tell you who has the power in this country. Those that have that money have the power. We don't control any of this stuff, but we can because we buy it. And all I'm telling you guys is, listen, this is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse until the 99% force the 1% to do better. They're not going to do better. Now, they can get on TV and pump out propaganda all they want to, but I'm telling you, unless we force them, they're not. They're not. The only thing, guys, in my opinion, that I know of that will save you from this is building assets. You have to build some assets, guys. You got to get in a position where you can control your own financial power, and you can't do that without assets. And I know it's tough. You're out there working an hourly job. Maybe you're making $15 an hour. Maybe you're making $20 an hour. I don't know. And I know when you look at your food costs and you look at your shelter costs, you're saying, shoot, man, 80% of my money is going to shelter costs. and food costs. How can I build wealth? How can I build wealth when 80% of my money is going to just those two necessities? Well, here's the thing, guys. In this country, if you want to make more money, you have to create more financial value. You just do. I'm not going to lie to you. If you're an hourly wage person and you want to make more money, you have to increase the value you add to the marketplace. You have to. Because there's no way to buy assets. There's no way to get to wealth. There's no way to get to your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow if you don't have income. And if 80% of your income, 90% of your income is going to 2 or 3 necessities, and that leaves you with nothing to invest, you can never build wealth. Because I'm telling you, the 1%, they're going to keep moving the goalpost further and further and further away from you. So the way you take control, the way we take control of our own financial power is we got to make more money, and then we have to be good stewards of that money we make. You do. If I'm a person out here making $15 an hour and I'm struggling. The first priority for me is, how can I make more? How can I get myself a skill set? How can I teach myself a skill set that will make me $25 an hour? How can I get a skill set that'll get me to a salary instead of an hourly wage, a salaried wage? That's what I should be thinking, guys. Every day, 365 days a year, that's all I'm thinking about is, how can I increase my value to the marketplace so I can make more money? Because I'm telling you, without making more money, nothing's going to change for you. Because the 1% is not going to change anything for you. They don't care. That's evident. You got 44 million people in this country who don't even know where to get the next meal. So it's evident that the 1%, and they got the power to lower prices if they wanted to. They're already billionaires. I keep telling y'all that. If they want to lower prices on automobiles, if they want to lower prices on food, if they want to lower prices on shelter, if they want to lower prices on gas, whatever, they can lower it. They're already wealthy. I mean, why wouldn't they just lower it? Because they're not. Don't care anything about you. So since they're not going to help you, you got to help yourself. And the way you help yourself is you got to make income, and then you got to keep the income. So I tell y'all, make your income, but don't spend it on things you don't need. A lot of us do that. Now, I know we got people out here who just don't have anything left. They're basics. That's all they can afford is the basics. But a lot of us 99%ers can't afford more than our basics. But we choose to take that extra and spend it on stuff we really don't need. Who needs a $1,000 grill? No one. No one needs a $1,000 grill. Right? See, a lot of us get confused with why you have what you have. And you make these videos about financial freedom. I saw some comments the other day where, oh yeah, you're one to talk. You're living in $1 million house. You got all these cars. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, that's just excuses, right? That's excuses. People hide behind excuses so that their fear won't show itself. They hide behind excuses because they're afraid to go out there and do it. See, guys, don't get it twisted. Anything you see in my lifestyle, I earned everything. Nobody gave me nothing. Nobody passed no wealth down to me. I didn't come from, oh yeah, you played in the NFL for 3 years. Guys, if you know anything about the NFL, and if you know anything about when I played, and you know anything about my story, I didn't make no real money in the NFL. I didn't play long enough. It'd be one thing if I played for 15 years and made 20 million bucks. Yeah, I can understand you questioning but guys, I didn't play long enough. That's how long I was in there. I didn't even play that long. And it was 30 years ago. I didn't make any wealth out of the NFL. Anything that I've gotten over these last 25 years, I did exactly what I'm telling you to do. When I was 26 years old, guys, I was making $30,000 a year. Fast forward 25 years later, I lived the lifestyle I lived because I did exactly what I'm telling you to do. I worked my butt off and I increased my skill set. I increased the value that I bring to the marketplace. They had no other choice but to give me more money. I was valuable to them. The 1% had no choice but, and who am I talking about? I'm talking about the 1% banking oligarchs. The banking oligarchs. They had no choice but to pay me commensurate with my value. They had no other choice. Trust me, had I not increased my value to them, they wouldn't have paid me. So I don't want to hear the excuses about, oh, you're one to talk. Look, no, you see the end result. You don't see when I started though. See, a lot of folks don't go back and look at my older videos. They don't go back and look at from the beginning when I talked about my story. I got videos out there that walk you through my story. They just see a video today of a guy living in a nice house, driving nice cars, and all they think is this guy's always been wealthy. I have not been. I was poor. Raised in low-income housing. But one thing I learned from my mother, who was my hero, she taught me about working and earning. I just took it to another level though. I said, I'm not gonna work and earn. I'm gonna keep and I'm gonna multiply. See, she taught me how to earn because I saw her earning. I saw her working 2 jobs, all kind of shifts. I saw her earning, so I had the work ethic. I had the work ethic in me to earn. What I hadn't learned was how to keep it and multiply it. And that's where many of you are. Y'all have the work ethic to earn. Where you're running into difficulties is with the keeping of it and the multiplying of it. And that's what the channel is all about. It's about teaching you how to keep money and then multiply it. But don't get it twisted. The 1% is not going to pay you unless you add value. So start with adding value. If you're a low wage person and you want to move up the wage scale, figure out a way to add more value. They'll never pay you what you're worth. We know that. They'll never pay you what you're worth. The only way you get paid what you're worth is you got to take back your financial power. See, when I worked for 25 years in banking, although I made a good salary, they never paid me what I was worth. The only way I get paid what I'm worth today is because I took my own power back, started my own company. Now I get paid what I want to get paid. Because I determine what I get paid now. Oh, 25 years, they determined what I got paid. I didn't determine it. Now, I added value, so I certainly could go in and demand, but they didn't have to pay it. They could have said, no, Richard, we ain't paying you. Get out of here. We'll hire another guy just like you and pay him for less. That's how they operate, though. But see, the money that they did pay me, that I commanded, that I added more value to the marketplace, so I demanded a higher wage, the money that they paid me, I didn't take it, guys, and spend it on stupid stuff. I took it and I put it in assets. And I did that over a period of time. And now I get to live the lifestyle I want to live. But I didn't grow up like this. I grew up in very, very humble beginnings, just like many of you. So let's stop making excuses. I don't care. Listen, no one really cares what my background was. Right? What people care about is, hey, what did you do to get where you're at? So that's what I'm telling you. We all have a past, but we cannot live in our past, guys. We got to live in the present and look forward to the future. So whatever your past is, learn from that, but don't live there. Just because right now you're not making the money you want to make doesn't mean you never will make it. You have to make the decision you want to make more, and you can. Now, that's one thing about this country. You do have the opportunity to make more money if that's what you want to do. despite the 1%. Because they're not stupid now. They need us. The 1% need us to keep their wealth. Because remember, we're the producers. We're the worker bees. We're the ones out here doing all the hard work, all the hard labor, they're sitting up there in the ivory tower being the queen bee. We're down here on the ground being the worker bees. But just because I'm a worker bee, that doesn't mean I can't think like a queen bee. Doesn't mean I can't think like a queen bee. See, the queen bee, she sits back and just don't do nothing. Everybody, all the worker bees do all the work. That's what us 99% are for this country. We're the worker bees. Just like I said yesterday, we're the worker bees. Now, we can continue being the worker bees for the rest of our life, or we can change that. We can change it. I was a worker bee for 25 years, but I knew at some point I wouldn't always be a worker bee. So for those 25 years, I said, you know something, I'm a worker bee, but I'm gonna take this money, I'm gonna put it in assets, and at some point, I'm not gonna be a worker bee. And that's what I did. I'm not gonna apologize for that. So anybody watching my channel wanna throw little darts at me, oh, look at you, what are you talking about? No, I'm talking about this because I'm from the mud. I just decided I wasn't gonna stay in the mud. That's all, I just decided. Reprogram. And if you decide and you want to reprogram, you can do whatever you want to do, whatever means something to you. But for right now, in America, we got a problem. We got people starving out here. 44 million Americans don't know where they're going to get the next meal from. 50% of people out here that make an hourly wage, 50% of those people, 50% of those people are struggling to pay their rent. They're struggling. And again, I've told y'all, the 1% is not going to swoop down and save you. They don't care if you struggle for the rest of your life. It's not going to change their lifestyle. They're going to still be on their luxury jets. They're going to still take their luxury trips. They're going to still live in their luxury homes. They're going to still have the luxury lifestyle. Where you can't even afford to buy food, you can't even afford to pay your rent. They're over here doing well. How do I know that? Look at the GDP for third quarter. 5% growth. Economy grew by 5% in the third quarter of 2023. I believe that's largely attributed to the 1%. Now, don't get me wrong, us worker bees down here, us 99% contributed too because we had no other choice. We had no other choice. But you can tell we didn't really have the money to do it because look at the credit card debt in this country. See, you can always tell, guys, with the 99%, where they're at financially. Just look at the statistics. The statistics going to tell you where the 1% at all the time. Just look at the statistics. And it'll tell you exactly how the 99% are funding their lifestyle. And over the last couple of years, since we've depleted our personal savings from 2 trillion down to about 200 billion, we've depleted our personal savings, right? So we got no other choice but to go to the credit cards. We got no other choice. So that's why you saw the credit card over the last year and a half just explode. I think pre-pandemic, credit card debt was in that high 700, low 800 billion range. And over the last couple of years, it shot up to 1.3 trillion. And that's a direct result of the 99% not having any personal savings, and they're using their credit cards as their safety net. That's a direct result of that. It is, but yet and still, the 1% get richer. Wealth gap widens. We have to think about assets. We have to think about earning more money, creating more money, keeping that money, and then putting it in assets. If you want to change anything in your life, guys, you have to change it. If you're somebody out there that's struggling saying, I don't know where I'm gonna get my next meal, I hear you. If somebody's out there struggling saying, hey, I can't even pay my rent, I hear you. But here is the hard truth. Here's the hard truth. No one's gonna save us but us. All I can tell you to do, if you're in either one of those situations or both, make a decision today that you're going to do everything you can to change that. And when I say do everything you can, you got to increase your income. You got to increase your income, and you got to keep your expenses level. You got to increase your income. So whatever that looks like, I don't know if it's a trade, I don't know if it's some type of other high skill set learning you got to do. I don't know if it's starting your own business, but you got to do more to increase your value to the marketplace so you can make more money. Because the 1% is going to keep moving the needle, right? They're going to keep pushing the goalposts farther and farther away because they can. There ain't no laws in this country that prevent them from doing that. Look at, like I just told you, look at the insurance industry. There ain't no laws stopping the insurance industry from jacking up premiums to the sky. I mean, you know, last year, 2 years ago, you paid $200 a month for insurance. Today it's $400. It's just there's no limit to it. They just let them do whatever they want to. Why do they do that? Because they control who in all your governmental seats. They control the government. That's why ain't no pushback on them. You ain't gonna see no pushback on them. You're not gonna see any pushback. Yeah, you got places like New York, you got places like California who mandatory impose rent increase restrictions. But the majority of the United States don't have no rent increase restrictions. They just let these oligarchs increase rent to whatever they want to increase it to. You got some couple pockets that just fight against it, right? Like New York, California, they fight against that. You know, they fight against oligarchs coming in and just buying up all the properties, shoving out the less fortunate, and then building all these luxury things for the 1%ers. But most of our country don't fight against it. They just let them do it. Just let them do it. I know here where I live in Southwest Florida, just let them do it. I don't know about your part of the country, but I know where I live, they just let them do it. Don't nobody stop them from doing what they want to do. No. So guess what? 1% continue to do what they want to do. The less fortunate, the 99% worker bees, we continue to just have less. But I told you, you're going to have to change that. No one else is going to change it for you. They're not going to save you. The government's not going to save you. You got to save you. And the only way you do that is through your income. The only way you do that is through converting your income into assets. Assets that actually generate income, that produce income, assets. See, that's how you get out from under the thumb of the 1%. You got to have your own assets. See, I have my own assets. Plus I have a high income skill set that ain't controlled by the 1%. Now, they can squash me like a little bug and some kind of way throw me off YouTube. The 1% can do that. But they ain't gonna take my assets that I built over 25 years. They're not gonna take my knowledge, my skill set. So even if they take YouTube from me, I know I still have a skill set where I can go out and earn a nice salary and have my assets. They can't take that from me. That's why I keep telling you guys, you gotta build skill set. You got to be able to convert your thoughts. You got to convert your skill to income. If you can do that, you can live in this 1% world. And if you build assets along with that, you're unstoppable. See, now you control your own financial power. But as long as I don't have any assets and I don't have a skill set that I can demand money from the 1%, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Because if the 1% look at you and say, oh, you don't add really any value financially to me or to my company, so scream all you want. I'm not paying any attention to you. See, you notice in the automobile industry, the United Auto Workers, in my opinion, got what they wanted. right? The automobile manufacturing oligarchs had no other choice but to pay them people. Now they know these are billionaire companies, guys. I'm talking about really, really old billionaire companies, multi-billionaire companies. They don't want to pay these people though. And these people are the ones that produce the cars. But what do these people do? What did they do? They banded together as a union, didn't they? When they banded together, now if there was one or two of them out there trying to argue and picket, them people wouldn't have paid them no attention. But when you got a group of them, a lot of them, and they stuck together, they got better treatment. Now, I don't know what they got, but they got better treatment to the point where, okay, let's go back to work. But see, that's what we got to do at the 99%. We got to take the same approach as the United Auto Workers. We got to take that same approach as the 99%. See, if all of us band together and say, no, we're not shopping there no more. Listen, guys, I promise you, if we band together and strike, let's say you did it tomorrow for Black Friday, which I know a lot of us ain't gonna do because we programmed wrong. But just say if we were all programmed the right way and we decided, okay, world, okay, 1%ers, we're not buying any of your crap. Reduce your prices or we're not buying any of your crap. Make it more affordable, we're not buying any of your crap. I guarantee you they lower them prices. I guarantee you they back off of it. But see, what happens is, if we can't band together to do that, they ain't gonna pay us no attention. Think about the NFL. Think about Major League Baseball. Think about the NBA. See, when those guys band together, when they band together, I can remember back in the day when the NFL had a couple strikes, when them players, they got better treatment, they got better money. Now look at the money that these guys making now. Baseball, basketball, football. Look at the money that these guys are making. Do you really think the NFL owner oligarchs wanted to pay them that money? They had no other choice. Now don't get me wrong, the oligarchs are still making, they're the billionaires. But they had to share some of that wealth. They didn't want to, but when those guys banded together, formed their own unions, came together, guess what? They had no other choice but to give up something. Now, they didn't give it all up, but they gave up something. Now, look at the money these guys make. Why can't the 99% just do that? Why can't we band together and force the oligarchs? Force them. Why can't we just band together and force them just like other groups, smaller groups in the United States do? They don't want you to unionize. They don't want you to come together. They don't want you to, because see, that's where power is. See, our power as the 99% is us together. That's where our power is. If we put that power together, all of us, guess what? We can wipe out. We can wipe out a lot of things that's happening with the 1%. Problem is, we won't come together. We won't come together. See, we got low income, we got the middle class. See, the middle class, they want to think they are the 1%, but they're not. See, we shouldn't even have any classes. If it was true equality in this country financially, we wouldn't even have all these middle class, low middle class, middle. We wouldn't have any of that. It would just be no class. It would be one class. If it was truly equality in this country, which we know it's not. It's not financial equality in this country. We know that. But we can make it into that if we wanted to. Now, the 1%, they're going to be stubborn. They're not going to want to. But when we start affecting their pocketbook, they'll listen. But as long as y'all go out there tomorrow and spend record dollars in Black Friday, they ain't going to pay y'all no attention. They're going to keep jacking the prices. As long as y'all go out there and rent these $2,000 a month luxury apartments, and I know some of us have no choice, but I'm telling you, that's what you should be picketing. That's what you should be in your neighborhood. Boom, that's where I would be. All I'm telling you is these oligarchs are not going to do anything to help you unless you force them. Then they will. Just like I mentioned, United Auto Workers, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, just a few little groups, and I know there are more out there, but when you force them, they got no other choice. Because the United Auto Workers didn't play around, boy. The manufacturers, they were going to lose billions of dollars. They had no other choice. Them people weren't messing around. They wasn't going back to work. They forced their hand. Now, they may not have got everything they wanted, but they got enough that they felt comfortable going back. That's the key. Same thing with NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. All over these years, these unions that they belong to, they forced the owners, these billionaires, they forced them to come to the meeting table and negotiate. They didn't get everything they want, but they got enough. And every collective bargaining agreement, it got better. Now look at the money these guys make. You think the owners wanted to really give them that? No, but they had no other choice. Either you give us this money, you don't have no product. Same thing I'm telling y'all. For all y'all that work for these franchises, all these national franchises that ain't paying you nothing. All y'all were to walk off, these national, I'm just talking about the national retail food franchises. Walk off the job. All y'all collectively walk off. And ain't nobody that'll make them burgers and them fries and them milkshakes. They'll raise you up. Trust me. But see, if you don't do that, if you're not prepared to do what is necessary, these oligarchs ain't gonna pay you. They'll never give you what you're worth if you're not willing to pay the price and force them to. If you're not willing to force them to, guys, they're never gonna give you anything. You gotta force them to. And I think as the 99% we can. And again, for you folks out there that are having problems with your rent, having problems buying food, I'm praying for you. But I also understand if we come together as a group collectively, we can help solve some of this. Now we're not gonna solve it all, but the key is it'll go down. Instead of 44 million, maybe it's 34, and then maybe we get it to 24, and then maybe we get it to, just keep getting it down. The way it's going now, it's continuing to climb, guys. It's not going down, it's climbing. It's going the wrong way. Add more value to the marketplace. That'll make you more money. If you add more value to the marketplace, you'll make more money. You will. You will. Add more value to the marketplace, you'll make more money. Then you got to take that money and you got to put it in assets. You got to put it in assets. I don't care where you're at on this wealth spectrum, especially if you're down at the bottom. Like I know many of us have been at the bottom, and maybe some of us are still there. Not maybe, a lot of us are still there. The statistics say we're still there, especially Black Americans. We're at the bottom. We own 4% of the wealth in this country, Black Americans, at the bottom, right? But that doesn't mean other people ain't at the bottom either. I'm just telling you, Black Americans, we're dead last. But there are some other people that are right above us, but we dead last. We own 4% of the wealth. 96% of the wealth is owned by somebody else. So if you're a Black American looking at this live, we're at the bottom of the barrel. So if you want to change that, you gotta change it. Same with all other people. Wherever you're at on that wealth spectrum, if you want to change it, you gotta change it. Nobody gonna come rescue you. Nobody gonna come save you. You gotta save you. But I've kind of given you some steps. And you can go out on my YouTube channel and look at other videos I've done that will walk you through exactly what you need to do. Now, whether you choose to do that or not, that's on you. All I can do is give you the information, guys. I'm one guy trying to give out information that was beneficial to me. See, I am a 99%er. I just decided to change my financial situation 25 years ago, and I just disciplined myself, stayed consistent, was patient, and I changed it for myself. And now I get to control my own financial destiny. I get to live the lifestyle I want to live. And it's my responsibility to share with you guys what I did. And it's my responsibility to share with you guys what I believe you can do to change your situation. You ain't got to agree with what I say, but I am going to say what I believe is helpful. And it's all from the heart. It's all about helping. I'm not going to apologize because I know how to make money and I make it. And someone, oh, you got a YouTube channel and you make money on YouTube. Oh, you played in the NFL. What does that mean? Who cares? If I'm trying to give you information to better your situation, that's all should be important to you. What my background shouldn't even be important. But that's nothing but people The 1% done program people to come at me saying stupid stuff when it has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. It has nothing to do with it. I'm trying to give information that could help somebody. All you focused on is, oh, look at the house you live in. Oh, look at the car you drive. What's that got to do with anything? So? What does that got to do with anything? Because I'm successful, I should apologize for that? No. I'm not going to apologize for me being self-made. I'm trying to encourage you to be self-made. I'm trying to encourage you to take control of your own financial situation like I did. If I was a part of the 1%, I wouldn't even be on this camera. I just wouldn't even care. I just go on with my life and okay, whatever. Don't bother me. I don't see none of y'all. I'm doing this because I am a 99%er and I always will be. I just was reprogrammed myself to learn how to make money, learn how to add value to the marketplace so I can make money, and then take that money instead of spending it to make the 1% wealthy. I just decided I'm gonna spend it, I'm gonna put it in assets. And then when I build enough assets, got enough income coming in, now I can go buy some of the things that I wanted to buy. I wouldn't live in this type of house if I couldn't pay for it. And it's not because of you guys paying for it. I know how to make money, guys. I was making money well before I got on YouTube to try to do videos. I was making money well before that. I was a millionaire way before I got on YouTube. See, y'all, the people who be out here making comments and don't know what they're talking about, don't go out and do their research and go check me out. Guys, I spent 25 years in banking. I made good money. I bought real estate for 25 years. Invested in the stock market for 20 years. Side hustles for 15 years before I even got on YouTube. But I understand if I'm gonna do YouTube and I know there's a money component to it and I know I'm smart enough how to convert my information into money, that's what I'm trying to teach y'all how to do. But you got these knuckleheads on here that can't get that through the minutia in their filter system. I'm trying to teach you how to convert your skill set to income so that you can put it in assets to build your wealth. But all you're concerned about is my wealth. That's how the 1% got you trapped, see? See, the 1% got some of us so discombobulated, they can't even understand when someone actually is trying to help us. We're trying to help them. They can't even understand that. All they consumed with is, oh, well, you don't look like you need no help. No, I don't look like I need no help because I changed my situation. Ain't got nothing to do with you. If I don't get no views on YouTube, I'm still gonna be good. I'm gonna be good because I understand how to make money. I understand how to keep that money. And I understand that I can put it in assets like real estate for income, stock market, businesses to multiply. See, I understand those concepts. Right? But I also understand the concept of if I have a skill set that can solve problems and I can find an audience who has a problem to solve, then I also understand I can make money that way too. Nothing wrong with that. That's taking control of my own financial power, by the way, which I'm trying to get you guys to do. I know a lot of you guys understand that, but you got a few knuckleheads out there that don't. But that's okay. I'm gonna concentrate on the people that want to change something in their life. The people that don't want to change anything, stay right where you're at. I guarantee you won't change nothing. Just don't change nothing. Just stay where you're at. Keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna keep getting the same results you got last year and the year before that and the year before that. Keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get the same results. If you want different results, guys, you gotta change something. If you want to be able to buy food for you and your family, if you want to be able to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, you got to change something. You got to change something. But you can. All you got to do is make the decision to change it, and you'll change it. Thank you guys very much for stopping in today. I'm going to get on out of here. I hope you guys have a rest of a good Thanksgiving. And again, just think about those that are less fortunate. Say a prayer for them. Keep them in your prayers. Keep them in your thoughts. And we're going to keep making this content, man, every day. It's going to keep coming. Every day it's coming. So for those of you that enjoy it and want to stick around and rock with me, hit the thumbs up for me. Hit that thumbs up if you want to rock with me. Hit the thumbs up if you want me to continue making videos, giving it to you 100% and giving you really insight to what you need to be doing in order to change your financial situation. If you enjoy that, hit the thumbs up before you get out of here. Please do that for me. Also, share this content if you don't mind. There's somebody out there in your network that may need to hear this. They may pick up some financial nuggets that could drastically change their life. So please share the content if you don't mind. I really would appreciate it. Also, if you want them 12 free stocks from Webull, click on the link down in the description box. Open up that new Webull account today. Go get you up to 12 free stocks for just trying out the brokerage app. Keep in mind, guys, I use the Webull app every single day, and I have been doing that for almost 3 years. So I would never ask you to try something that I'm not doing myself. So check out that link below for the Webull offer. And then if you do decide to open up the Webull account and fund it, send me an email. My email address is down in the description box. Let me know you've opened it, you funded it, and I'm gonna send you a free Webull tutorial video to walk you through the basic steps to start buying your favorite assets, paper assets, so that you can start doing what? Taking control of your own financial power. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself, and I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Peace.